Okay guys, so welcome to this presentation. My name is Tom Green. I am the founder of growthhacker.io, and in this video I want to show you how to go from 0 to 1.5 million in revenue in 12 months or less using automated demand generation systems and commission-only sales teams, all without funding. So before we get into the details, I want to give you a bird's eye overview of the process. So let's get into that. So we are going to start with a customer and product development process. So this involves identifying a really tightly focused niche. Okay, we're going to define exactly who our customer is, where they are now, where they want to get to in the future, and the roadblocks that are facing them. And then we are going to produce a value capturing business model that is going to satisfy that niche by helping them with this transformation. So that is the first stage, guys, really important, the customer development process. What we then do is we're then going to go out to the market. We are going to test our sales argument to ensure that we can get sales and that we get a positive response to the transformation that we're offering, to the niche that we're offering it to, at the price that we are charging. Because the last thing you want to do is build something that then doesn't sell. So we get that validation first before we move into this light orange section here, where we build out our solution, all with the aim of gathering our first case study and establishing profitable unit economics. So once you've done that, once you've got your first case study, what we'll then be moving on to is how to create a fully fledged marketing system that starts by grabbing attention online and converts that into revenue. So once this system is built out, we'll be using a series of automated marketing tools to do this. Once this system is built out, what then should happen is, before we can move to the next stage, is we need to establish a return on ad spend. Okay, when we've got that return on ad spend, this then gives us license to ramp up our marketing budgets. We can then flood our sales pipeline, and this is the time where we can then build a commission-only sales team. Okay, so that is what is happening here. And then we will get into, once our business is fully established and everything is up and running, we'll then install processes for systemization for scale so that our business can be profitable, successful, and continue to grow in the long run. So that, guys, is an overview of the process real quick so that you know what we're going to be getting into here. So what I need to make you aware of as well, guys, is that within these stages of this full process, there are also then encasing processes inside that, okay, which we're going to be going into really deep detail on. So just to give you a little bit of a picture of those, we'll be combining LinkedIn and outbound email prospecting to create an outbound prospecting strategy, all with the aim of producing evaluation calls. We'll be looking at, this is the LinkedIn process in detail, how that works. And then this is the outbound email process as well. We'll be looking at then sales flows. So these form the kind of conditional logic flows that happen within our sales scripts. This is how I design sales scripts. I think that if you can have flows down and your reps know all the different eventualities that could happen, that really helps. And then other things that we'll be looking at as well relative to marketing. So this will be like an example of a 5-day challenge, which is one of the funnels that we offer and we teach as part of our program. We've got landing page focus funnels, and then our main landing page quiz evaluation call funnel as well. So we'll be showing you how to set this all up, to link up your Facebook ads to your CRM, to integrate that and get your leads flowing into a sales software, directing people back to your checkout pages. All of that is going to be covered throughout this process, guys. So guys, to give you a little bit of context here, the business that I was running prior to starting Growth Hacker, I did with my business partner at the time, Marcus Dunning. This was a sport and children's education business, and we were able to achieve a growth result of going from 0 to 1.5 million in 12 months, all without funding and all using the systems that I am showing you here in this presentation. Okay, so here is a graph in one of the months from a live sales dashboard when we were ramping up. And here are some of the results. So we were able to go from a 2-man startup to a 20-man team using fully automated demand generation systems and also commission only sales teams. Okay, and this led to some great results. We were able to build the first subscription-based sports web application for kids sport in the Middle East. We built a big active subscriber base and had over 2,000 active customers. Okay, so this shows you guys this system gets results, and everything that I'm showing you here was built in this company. Okay, so you can see that this is something that works in a live business. With one of our seasonal products, so this was one of our revenue streams, which was pretty seasonal. We were able to, during the season, over a 3-month period, make sales of nearly $400,000. Okay, and here you can see the daily sales chart, which peaked at the season's peak. And then also this chart here shows the sales that were brought in by each of our commission-only sales reps. Okay, so I'll teach you how to build those systems, and all of that sort of stuff is what we're going to get into and what we focus on within Growth Hacker. Some highlight results that were achieved here. We had a record sales month of $200,000. We were able to take a revenue stream from $0 to $33,000 in its second month for a new revenue stream, and our record sales day overall was a $25,000 sales day. You can see the remittance statement from the bank here as well. That converts into $25,000. So this all works, guys. These processes work, and if you are going to take advice from anyone online, make sure that they can show you proof and that they have the results to back it up. So that is a little bit about how these systems work, guys, and the results that they can get. So who is this process for? Well, I think the first thing to say is that people who are successful with my systems understand that entrepreneurship is a very front-loaded task, and you need to put in a huge amount of work and effort in the beginning to understand your customers, make sales, build systems, and put processes in place so that you create an asset that then creates wealth for you in the back end in the future. Okay, so you need to be willing to put in a huge amount of work up front. Okay, people who are successful with my program and people that it is well suited to are quantitatively minded, and they're digitally focused people as well. So if you're someone who really does not like getting into the analysis of things, and you don't like numbers, and you don't like digital stuff, you don't like online stuff, then this program is not for you. Okay, this program gets quite technical in places. That said, I wouldn't want to dissuade you. If you haven't had any digital marketing experience in the past, that does not disqualify you from the course. Okay, the only requirement is that you're fairly okay with numbers, and the fact that you also like online stuff, you like the internet. Okay, just because you haven't ran ads before, or you've not kind of done much digital marketing, I can teach you that. Okay, that's something that we teach in our programs. You're going to need to be a fast learner. We cover a lot of topics. We cover marketing, sales, product strategy, business strategy, some system-based thinking techniques. You're going to need to be able to pick these up quite quickly. So this is for fast learners, and this is for people who are willing to try new strategies. Okay, this program is built on little known secrets that will help you to unlock 10x results, and not many people are using these strategies. Okay, so if you're someone who is really wanting just to follow the status quo and you want to do things very much by the book, then this may not be the program for you, because we're using cutting edge stuff here, and you're going to need to be willing to try things out. Okay, you're going to need to be willing to define a laser focused niche. So if you're not willing to knuckle down and say, this is the one person who is my customer, okay, first of all, I think that if you're not willing to do that, it's going to make business hard in general. But with my systems, it will not work whatsoever if you do not focus on a target audience. Okay, so in terms of the businesses that my program is for, it isn't limited entirely to this, but these are my core businesses. So people who are selling information products online, people who have consultancy businesses where they're selling their time, and normally done through an online medium. Okay, these are also people who I work with. Service-oriented industries, again, where you're trading time for money, with high average ticket prices of $150 or more. and then SaaS companies as well. So I think that the common theme through all of these guys is that they're online focused businesses where, if not the whole process can be taken online, all of the demand generation and the customer processes, all of that can be done online. You may still be delivering, like for a service business, you may still be delivering things in person, that's absolutely fine, but we can take the majority of the business online in terms of demand generation, sales, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so that is who the program is for and who my processes work for, guys. So who it is not for, people who are trying to get rich quick. This is not a get rich quick scheme. It takes at least 12 months, if not longer, of really hard work to build something that is going to have long-term success. Okay, so this is not a get rich quick scheme. And it is not for people who aren't willing to put in a large amount of work without gratification, because it will take time and it is going to feel like you're fighting a losing battle sometimes in the early stages, but you've got to push through that. Okay, people who aren't willing to make vital investments in themselves and their companies. Okay, so there is intrinsic cost to taking processes like this. For my program, whether you're going to go with a paid program or you're going to take the time to invest in yourself and read 100 different business strategy books, or whether or not you're going to invest in the tools that you need to help your business grow in terms of like the marketing automation tools and outbound prospecting tools, you have to be willing to invest. And the most important investment that you can make is one in yourself. So that is something that you will need. If you don't have that, then this course is not for you. If you have a highly bespoke service that can't be systemized or automated, this is probably not the course for you. My course is designed so that we can churn sales fairly quickly. So if you're doing something completely different for every single client, then this is probably not going to be the course to suit you. Also, if you are a business that doesn't typically acquire customers online, like brick and mortar restaurants, for example, okay, this is not the product for you. Okay, my solution and these processes work generally for these kind of businesses. There will be exceptions to this and there will be others, but these are my sweet spot. Okay, so that, guys, is who the program is for and who these processes will work for. So guys, the key points that this Okay guys, so some key points that the program process is based upon. So I believe that it is totally achievable for you to take your business from scratch to scale within a 12-month period, but only if you have the right strategies, tools, and skill sets. Now, with regards to the skill sets, these 5 skills are needed by entrepreneurs to ensure success. So you need a really intricate understanding of the customer development process. You need design skills. You need either engineering or systems thinking skills. You need marketing skills, and you need sales skills. So the reality is that very few people possess all of these skills, and it takes a number of years to master all of these different disciplines, okay, and not something that many entrepreneurs have when they start out. And as a result, they typically have 2, 3, or 4 areas that they are not strong in, and this results in poor business processes and therefore poor outcomes. Okay, so people who understand this are able to create really good processes. People who don't aren't. Now, the goal of this system and the things that I'm going to share with you here is to give you the roadmap that you need to act as if you have expert skills in all of these areas, even if you don't. And as you go through the process, you're going to become close to an expert, if not an expert, in all of these areas. Okay, so my core concept in doing this is that you can achieve rapid growth without funding, but only if you satisfy these 3 factors. So your company needs to be built upon a value capturing secret, and it needs to be targeted at a really small niche. Okay. Next up, the activities that you do prior to product market fit, before your product has really been established as a success in the market, you must sequence those activities correctly. And then you must have the ability to build automated demand generation systems and also high converting commission only sales teams. Okay, this is so important and a big part of scaling the types of businesses that we work with. So just in diagram form here, we use a value capture model to ensure that we create a valuable business that is targeted at a small niche. We then sequence, so we start by testing a sales argument. We then move on to testing the solution by building our product, and then we test acquisition channels. And by taking this sequence, what actually happens is it means that we are able to validate our idea every step of the way without burning a huge amount of cash. Okay, so a lot of entrepreneurs do this in the wrong order. They build something that people don't need, they then try and market it and no one wants it, and they run out of money, and then the business is toast. Okay, so this sequence allows you to scale up your business, testing every step of the way, so that then you can ensure that your idea is validated before you start placing big bets like building your solution and marketing it. The last step of the framework involves putting systems in place so that your business can scale in the long run. Now, by this time you will have a demand generation system in place and commission-based sales teams in place as well. So at this time, it is really about making sure that our business will be successful and it will keep improving, and we'll be able to diversify without our day-to-day involvement. Okay, when our business gets to this point, we want to only be involved in things on a strategic level, looking for new opportunities and ways to improve things. We don't want to be fighting fire. So that is why step 3 focuses so heavily on systems that help us to scale up. So guys, just want to give you a little bit of context and background on myself to how I got to this point now where I'm running Growth Hacker. So academically, I've always been fairly strong. So in school, I focused on economics, maths, physics, and also business. These were my A-level subjects. Then went off to university in the UK and got my BSc at the University of Birmingham. Then headed back over to Dubai. I was in a commission-based role within sports for around 18 months. And then very quickly at the age of 22, I got the opportunity to form my first company. Okay, that business was actually a golf coaching business. Okay, so looking back to the kind of companies that this is suited for, I formed a business that was basically this. It was a service-oriented business with an average ticket price of more than $150 with golf coaching. Okay, so with this business, I was able to scale that business up, Golf DXB and also Kids DXB, up to 7-figure annual revenues. Okay, and I was able to do this with a real drive for scale and a real drive for improving processes. So I think when I was involved in golf coaching, I liked the fact that I was earning commission and that sort of stuff, but I hated the fact that I was totally limited based on the amount of hours that I had in the day would dictate how much I could earn, which for me, with an entrepreneurial mindset, I didn't like. So my solution to that was to create systems so that I could have people work for me first within golf, and then built out this big kids sports business, which did all kinds of different activities and scaled up to 20 people. That is the Kids DXB business that you saw in the case study. So my skill set, at university, I wasn't really that marketing focused. Okay, that wasn't something that I studied at university, but since the age of 22 when I formed my business, for the last 7 years, I have been so focused on learning anything and everything to do with the moment that attention is captured online, right the way through until we have a customer who is an evangelist. So that includes sales, marketing, product design, a little bit of kind of engineering and database stuff from building a web application. All of that sort of stuff is stuff that I am super interested in. I spend a lot of time reading, learning, testing all of these different processes, and that is really how Growth Hacker was formed. Other interests, I'm a professional golfer, so that is how I kind of came to form my first company. I think in line with that, I'm a very competitive person, which is why I always find that people who are competitive get really into sales. So that is something that lends itself well. And then I also enjoy travel, CrossFit, and skiing as well, as you'll see in a few of my pictures. So that is a little bit of background about me, guys. How I came to form Growth Hacker was really because I had this service-based industry business with Golf DXB and Kids DXB, and COVID hit, and we had this huge kind of realization that our business, probably for 12 months minimum, if not more, we wouldn't be able to produce any revenues because of all the sanctions that were in place and all of the health and safety measures. So myself and my business partner decided to wind that business up. And I decided that the best next step for me was to take all of the things that I had learned within those businesses and create a program and also partnership opportunities for people who wanted to achieve the same level of results, because that is the part of business that really interests me. I am all about growth. I have always been someone who's interested in moving the needle on revenue, so I thought let's focus on this. And the great thing is that I know that these systems are going to work for you, because I have used them to create high growth businesses in 2 different fields myself as well. Okay, so that is a little bit on my background, guys. Now what I would like to get into is entrepreneurship journeys over time. So the reality is that most entrepreneurs are not successful, and 80% of startups fail within 5 years, okay? And then those startups that are successful often form into this yellow 15% where they're really just getting by, okay? And the founders are not really being compensated as well as they would like for the efforts that they're putting in, and it is all a real struggle, okay? Then you've got the 5% of businesses that are actually successful, okay, but what you'll see here is that they go into a pretty big cash dip initially, and then they scale here. Now, my belief is that with the right processes in place, businesses can go on a trajectory that is more like this, okay? They don't need funding, they can achieve results faster, they can make the first 1 million quicker, and they can do it without the huge risks that entrepreneurship has with that 80% failure rate, but only if you follow the correct processes. So what is needed in order to be successful within entrepreneurship? I just want to reiterate the core ingredients. So first of all, your business needs to be built upon little known secrets that give you a significant competitive advantage over your competitors and mean that you can dominate a really small niche to start off with. Okay, so that's very important. All of the real rocket ship businesses, they started in a really focused area because this allowed them to dominate, and then they sequenced outwards, and you should do exactly the same. So that is ingredient number 1. Number 2, the activities prior to product market fit need to be sequenced correctly. Okay, by doing this in the right order, it means that we don't need huge amounts of funding, and it really reduces our risk. So to do this, what you do is you test your sales argument by going out to the market. Okay, and you do this without fancy funnels or expensive marketing budgets. You just go out there using tools like LinkedIn, email, and Zoom to get your first sales. And all you're trying to do here is you're trying to validate the fact that your niche will pay the price that you have offered for the transformation that you are promising. If you can do that and you can get your first sales, you then need to build your solution and deliver. And at the end of that process, you should have a case study. And that case study is the first piece of proof that your solution works, number 1, and your customers are happy, but also that you have established profitable unit economics and have been able to service that client, making more revenue than costs, okay, considerably, because of course we need that profitable unit economics in order to proceed. And then lastly, we will then, once we know that our solution works, we can then test acquisition, and we're looking to build a demand generation system that allows us to put in $1 of marketing budget, and then it spits out $3 at the other end. Okay, that is the scenario that we are looking for. When we have achieved that, we can then scale up our marketing, flood our sales pipelines, and build a commission-only sales team that can then handle those leads and will allow our business to scale up without any risk. Okay, now in order to do this process, I just want to show you how I came to understand all of these processes. You can either read all of these books and resources and many more, okay, spend hours looking around on YouTube, looking at blogs, testing all of these things in your business, keeping the things that work, getting rid of the things that don't work. And from my experience, it takes around 6 to 7 years to master that process. Or you can follow the framework that I'm going to show you here, and you'll be able to achieve massive results in 12 months or less. So I am not saying that you cannot do this on your own. I'm sure because you're listening to this, you're someone who is motivated and driven and very competent in what you do. But what I can promise is a faster route to success, and something where it's going to save you a lot of unnecessary kind of trial and error to get the result that you want. So guys, we're now going to get into the processes, and I will be referring back to this diagram. This is the roadmap from how to go from scratch to scale step by step, and you can see the different parts there color coded as well. So this starts with this circular model here, which is where we are going to begin. And this is a model that was began really with this process, which was popularized by Simon Sinek. The process is called Start with Why. And what this theory is all about is the fact that great companies know exactly why they do what they do, okay? And those companies that are able to communicate those feelings, those are the ones who are able to communicate to the limbic system, which is the inner part of people's brain that is responsible for our feelings and our emotions, and that ultimately guides our decision, okay? So Simon Sinek said that if we started with why and communicated outwards to then figure out how and what, we would then have a really valuable business and be able to communicate really well with our customers, establish a great culture, and also ensure that we were able to attract the right employees also. Okay, so that is how this model was formed. Now, I found with this that it was great for creating like kind of concepts, and it was quite good on an abstract level, but I found that by combining it with a couple of other things, I was able to create a full system, which is where the value capture model comes in, for creating great business ideas that become valuable. Okay, so after defining our why, what we would then do is move on to the value concept, which is really taken from a lot of the work of Peter Thiel, a PayPal founder and a thought leader with regards to business and product strategy. And what Peter says that we should be asking when we're forming a company is, what valuable company is nobody building? Okay, and the answers to those questions are where you get companies like Uber and Airbnb and Google and Facebook. Okay, that is the answer to these questions. Okay, so whether or not you're trying to build a business that becomes global and huge like Facebook or Google, or whether or not you're trying to build a local business that is really successful, you should still be trying to build your business on the basis of these things. So the first thing here is that your business should be built on secrets. So you should have a way of doing things or a unique proposition that very few people know about or are using. So in the example of Uber, that was the fact that now you can book a taxi on your phone. Everything is vetted so that you know the driver is safe, and the whole car share thing was born out of that secret. Okay, so that would be an example of a secret. Similarly with Airbnb, their secret was that people would be willing to open up their homes for strangers for short vacations and sell it through a platform. So that would be another example of a secret. Okay, we need to create unique value. So once we've discovered our secrets, we need to find a way of packaging that into something that will be unique and valuable. Okay, that will mean that people flock to our business and buy from us. Okay, now the next step after that is ensuring that when people flock to us, they pay us, but we capture a lot of that value. So we need to choose businesses and business models that have high gross profit margins so that we are able to capture value. So there has been a huge amount of innovation where value isn't captured, and a great example of this is the airline industry. So you've got huge airline businesses, like the whole airline industry has like a crazy revenue numbers, but in terms of profit, the whole profit for the whole of the airline industry is less than Google, okay? Because Google is able to capture more of its value, okay? The last part of the creating a really valuable business and the value concept is to define a laser focused niche. So every business that is able to dominate and create a monopoly and capture high profits starts with a small niche, and then it sequences outwards, because by knowing exactly what it is that you do to start off with and really resonating with your customers and getting really good at what you do, that then allows you to become the dominant force in that space, and then you can expand outwards. So great example of this, Facebook. They started in the Harvard campus and really got established as the social network in the Harvard campus. No one used anything else. Then they expanded out to all universities across America, and then after that they've gone to the world. Okay, so that is why we focus on a laser focused niche to get started. So that was this circle of the value capture model, guys. So the next phase of the value capture model is the status differential and the roadmap, and I group this into what is known as the customer development process. So in this customer development process, we're trying to fully understand our niche, and namely we want to understand where they are now, where they want to get to, and the problems that they are going to face along the way, okay, if they try and go on that journey from current state to desired state. And by doing this, we're able to then communicate really well with our niche. We're able to understand the problems that they are facing, and when we hit those problems with our copy and with our marketing and with our solution, we're going to find that it really resonates with them, and they're going to be willing to move to the next stage with us. Okay, so that is the first part, and the reason this is called status differential is because if we can establish that if people want to buy something, they're going to have to change their behavior, and to change behavior there needs to be a big differential between where they are and where they want to get to. Okay, so that is very important. Next up, the roadmap. So once we've established the problems that they have got from getting from where they are to where they want to be, we then need to layer in the activities and outcomes. And what we do is we will compare the existing ways that they might be able to go about achieving the result and contrast those with the new and kind of better, faster or cheaper ways that we are able to help them achieve the results. So by comparing the results, they're then able to assign value to it. And if we can have game-changing secrets within our actual activities and the outcomes that they get, if we can have little bits of secret ingredients that allow us to achieve those results, that is what our marketing should be based all around. Okay, so that, guys, is the customer development process. So now moving down into what and proof. So when we're creating the what section, what you're going to do is we're going to map features back up to the activities that we just outlined. And what this will do, this will mean that instead of most entrepreneurs who just dump all their features out on the table and the clients don't really know what to make of it or what to assign value to, by mapping it back to the activities and therefore to the problems that the clients had originally, they're going to place real value on these features, okay? And this is then going to allow us to create a suggested price for each of our features, which we can then stack into an offering, okay? And what we will do from there is we will then start to leverage behavioral psychology within our offer to introduce things like scarcity, urgency, and also risk reversal guarantees as well, okay? So that is the what circle of the value capture model. And then we move down into the proof. So everything that we do needs to be in case by proof. We need to show that we can achieve the results that we say that we can achieve, and that we can take our clients from that current state to desired state. So everything that we do within our communication needs to be layered in proof. So that completes the value capture model, which we will create as part of the first step in our program. And then we can move on to crafting this and creating a guiding sales argument. So what this will be is it is a long form document. The first one that I wrote was 43 pages for my business that I originally did this with. And what you'll find with this is that if you can do this well, this is an entrepreneur's most leveraged activity. If you are a good copywriter and you're a good written salesman, you'll be a good negotiator, you'll be a good salesman in person, you can become an inspiring leader because you're able to create and craft arguments that give a compelling reason for people to take action, which is what business is all about. And this document will become your copywriting Bible and the things that you then use to create the promotional assets for the rest of your customer journey. So that is the guiding sales argument. So getting into some questions about those last two steps. With regards to specificity, we have to be super specific with our niche, okay? And the reason is because if we do this, our message will really resonate. People will feel like, our prospects will feel like this is custom made for them and something that is going to be a perfect fit for them, which if we've done our targeting right, our solution will be. And you're going to be able to speak in their language, talk about their problems and challenges that they're going to face, relate to their aspirations, and it will mean that you're able to acquire customers more easily. So that is so important, okay? And I think that covers why your niche has to be so small as well, okay? Now, don't worry, this will not limit your market size, okay? Even though you're defining a really tightly picked customer, you will still get people in a circle around that niche who will also be interested and think, okay, maybe this isn't exactly the thing that I need, but a lot of the processes seem good, I'm going to go with this. And that is what tends to happen, okay? So don't worry if you feel like your niche limits your market size. It is the right thing to do. Is your niche fixed forever? No, it is not, okay? You can change your niche, and you will have to change your niche if you're not getting the response that you want potentially, okay? So you want to pick a really tightly focused niche, and then we'll go out and test it in the next section, but we don't have to stick with our niche if it is not working, okay? My business isn't cutting edge, how can I find secrets? So this is a question that I get a lot within my program. I think that when people see this question, what valuable company is nobody building, and we start talking about the likes of Uber and Airbnb, people think, oh, well, I'm just a small service provider in my local city, I'm not going to be able to do that. But the truth is that there are ways to create valuable businesses and secrets on a smaller level, okay? So a lot of times, if you're in a huge industry, like it's going to take massive innovation to interrupt and disrupt the taxi industry like Uber did. But within smaller industries, like within your local, let's say you're a PT, within your local fitness community, it won't take that same level of crazy kind of new processes to differentiate yourself. It might only need 2% of the innovation that was needed to create Uber, okay? But you do need to base it on secrets. They don't have to be world-changing secrets, but they do need to be things that are little known, not used that often, and that can help your clients to achieve better results with new activities. Okay, so that summarizes the questions here, guys, for this section. So just referring back here, that referred to the first part of the model. So zooming in here, we have looked at the value capture model and the guiding sales argument. So moving down now into sequencing, okay? This sequencing section covers all the way from here right the way down to this part of our model. So this is the bulk of our process, guys. So let me take you through how we do this. So the key here is all in the sequence of activities as well as the activities themselves, okay? So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to go out and test the market with our sales argument, okay? So the way that we do this is we're going to go out to the market with the fact that we know, okay, this is our niche, this is the transformation that we can achieve, and this is the price that we can achieve it at. We are going to now go out to the market, and as low as cost as possible, we're going to try and generate demand and convert that demand for these services to basically, it's like a science test. We're trying to validate our hypotheses here, okay? So if we are able to do that, if we are able to go out to the market and validate the idea correctly, then it means that we will have established that we can generate customers and that people are willing to pay for our service. And then we can get on to the next phase, so we can test our solution. So what we can do here, we can conduct a design sprint so that we can take the intelligence that we got from our pre-selling and build out an MVP for our business, okay? And this is going to be a minimal viable product that we build to service those first customers, and we are going to do whatever we can to to help those customers out and get them the results they need. We're going to do things that maybe won't scale up, that are bespoke and personalized, to make sure that those first customers get success with us. Okay, that's very, very important. And what we're trying to do here with your minimal viable product, you want to do this in a way where you are building something that is as low cost and as cost efficient as possible, but delivers the results. So this can involve, instead of creating full platforms, using data storage software like the Google Drive system. If you're using an information product, would be a good example of that. Or if you're making an application, you may want to do a simulation in the back end for the first round of your business, to make sure that then you know that the solution is tested and it works before you spend the big amounts of money. Okay, so this is all about not placing huge bets that may be unsuccessful. It's about placing small bets so that then we can continue to progress through the process. So next up, we would test acquisition. So we'll establish scalable marketing channels. So for me, typically this is likely to be Facebook, okay? And we will use those channels to go out and test to see if we are able to go and get customers and we're able to generate leads, and then if we're able to convert those leads. So what we do is we start off on a relatively small scale basis for this, and then as we go along we will start to scale things up once we see the ROI numbers that we need to achieve. So I look for between a 300 and a 500% return on investment on our ad spend, okay? So that is what you will be looking for here. And at this point, when you get that validation, and there'll be tools and things that we use to check that we are 100% getting that return that we need, we will then ramp things up. So at this point, we can build out our marketing budget, we can scale things up, and we can build a remote commission-only sales team that will allow us to convert these leads, okay? So that is the sequencing process that is covered from light yellow here down to the light red here. So all of these processes, so just showing you that is the outbound prospecting to get the initial sales. We're then going to conduct a design sprint, which hopefully we can do without going out and generating seed capital. We'll gather our first case studies. We're then going down to create our marketing engine and our funnel. Then we scale up the ads, build a sales team, and that then gives us license to ramp things up from there, and our business will go from strength to strength. So that is the overall sequencing process, guys. So some key questions that will come up in relation to this. So first of all, with regards to testing the market, I think the question that a lot of people have who work with us is, do I have to sell my product before I build it? And the answer is absolutely yes. So you need to make sure that you have validated your idea. So many entrepreneurs go out and they spend so much money on building a solution, which then it turns out that their niche doesn't want, or there's a load of redundant features, or the price point is wrong, and they waste a ton of money, okay? And a lot of times that can mean that they run out of cash, and ultimately the business fails, okay? So in those instances, the way that we can avoid that is by building our solution after we have already sold it, okay? But how do we actually do that? If we haven't built anything, how can we sell? Well, the way that you would do this is you've got really two options, okay? You can either build a shortened, pieced together version of your product that can use, if you're making a software product, you could use simulations to sort out the back end, like the data flow through the back end, or you could, if you're like building an information product, instead of building a whole portal, you could just store everything on Google Drive and save the money that way, and mean that you don't need funding. So it's all about trying to make your MVP as low cost as possible. So if that is possible, great. If you feel that you do need some form of investment so that you have to build out a solution that is going to cost you a certain amount of money, then the way that you would sell it so that then you can still sell and then build after is you'd sell to people under the proviso that they have a 60 to 90 day window, which gives you enough time to build it. So they would purchase with the knowledge that they will get their solution on X date. Okay, so that allows you to validate. Now, if that covers all of your setup costs and all of your solution costs, that is great. But even if it just covers a portion of it, that is also really good, because it shows that you have validated your idea and that it will sell, and it means that you're okay to go ahead with the process. Okay. Next question. How do you get such high conversion rates using outbound prospecting? So outbound prospecting is the tool that we can use to get conversions and to get our first customers at low cost. But the way that you're going to need to do it in order to get conversions, you're going to need to tightly define and target a certain audience. You're going to need to create a personalized message, and you will use high converting copy to make sure that you get a good conversion on your emails. Next up, why do we start with outbound prospecting? Why can't we do marketing? Well, the reason for that is that, again, that we don't want to spend money at this stage on marketing. Okay, we want to validate as low cost as possible, so that then we're going to save as much money as we can to get those first sales. What we don't want to do is burn thousands on marketing to realize that we won't sell, because then we've dug into our budget, and if we do that too many times, we can run out of cash. Okay, so that is why we start with outbound prospecting, because it is high conversion if you do it correct, and it is free. Next up, questions regarding the solution. So how can I help you to build your solution? So I can give you a little bit of advice on how to create manual simulations, or how to set up products at low cost. Within our methodologies, we use the design sprint, which is an intensive creativity-based and business problem kind of approach to creating solutions. It's really well suited for digital products, so that is something that I can help you with. I've also, through Growth Hacker, obviously Growth Hacker is primarily an information product combined with consultancy, so I can show you how to build out information products and do this as cost effectively as possible. So that is something that I can show you on how to build a solution. And then systemizing service businesses. So as you'll know, my first businesses were all based in the service industry out in Dubai, and I can give you some advice on how to systemize those processes so that you can get repeatable, high quality service delivered over time. Okay. What are you looking for when testing your solution? Okay, so we're looking for case studies. We want happy customers, we want testimonials from at least 2 people, okay? And we need to also, as well as that, we need to have profitable unit economics on these people, because it's no use having case studies and people that are really happy if they've paid us $10 and it's cost us $20 to get them to that point. That is not a business, that is a charity. Okay, so that is the questions relating to the solution, guys. And then just moving on to acquisition. What are we looking for with testing acquisition? We want a 300% return on ad spend within a 30-day period, which we are going to get through automated demand generation systems. Now, what is that? So that is a system that combines paid ads with landing pages, with a CRM, with questionnaires, with scheduling tools, all together into a system which takes people and grabs their attention online, funnels them down to an evaluation call, and allows us then to sell. Okay. Now, with regards to testing for acquisition, the different funnels that we use, what I have found is that different funnels are suited to different businesses, and there are 3 core ones that I use within my processes that are all included within the growth program that we teach. So we have a high qualification funnel, which involves leading people through a fairly long process to get a very qualified customer, and this will produce a slightly higher cost per lead. This is great for selling high ticket items. Next up, we have like a simple sales focused funnel. This works great for local businesses with mid-ticket prices. You're going to produce a lot of leads this way, either running lead generation ads or running ads to a landing page, and then focusing on the sales team converting them. So you're going to need to really build out a sales team to use this funnel. Excuse me. So from that, last one, 5-day challenge funnel. Your 5-day challenge funnel is something where we run ads to a landing page, and then we get people into a Facebook group. This is like an extended lead magnet, which leverages the Facebook group as a community, and then from there you're able to create an environment where it is possible to sell. Okay, so just to really illustrate here that we've got different models for different businesses and experience with all of these models to help you out. Okay. Next up, questions relating to ramping up. How do you know when it is the right time to ramp up? So to increase the marketing budget, that is when you've got at least a 300% return on ad spend is the time that you should do that. Should I build a sales team first or increase ad budgets? You should definitely increase ad budgets gradually first, flood the sales pipeline, and then build the sales team. Because the last thing that you want is a sales team sitting on their hands, not doing anything, because there isn't enough leads for them. Okay, so you should always scale up the ads first. How will people work on a commission-only agreement? So we've talked about how the sales team will be commission-only. The way that we do this is through social proof and demonstration of earnings. Okay, this is the way that we will help them to understand that even though they're taking a little bit of a risk coming on board with us on a commission-only basis, they're going to learn so much. There's proof that people earn in our business and that they earn good amounts, and they are going to have a really good experience with us that will span them and set them up for future success within the industry. How do we automate recruitment? So I think a big problem with trying to build a sales team is that it's a very, very arduous process, and you've got the fact that you need sales teams, okay, and you also have got your marketing budget. Now, marketing budget can be increased super easily. Like, you can just, with a touch of a button, you can double your marketing budget. But if you can't grow your sales team really well, then it means that you're limited in terms of what budget you can spend. You could spend more, but then you just wouldn't be able to handle your leads, and your cost of acquisition would go up. So how do we automate recruitment? We send our applicants through a hiring funnel, and we interview in groups. Okay, this is the way that you can automate recruitment so that you can bring on multiple reps a week. This is how I built a sales team up to 20 people. We even, over a seasonal period over the summer, got that up to like 25 or 30, and we were able to do that by having this automated recruitment process with group interviews. How does a remote sales team function? So a lot of people who work with us use remote sales teams. So to do this, what they will use is tools like Slack, Zoom, and Pipedrive, so that then you can effectively, it's as if you're working in an office, except without the distractions and the commute time, which are neither things that you want. So if we get the right setup here and we do things correctly, we can work perfectly well without an office, without the overheads, without the fixed costs, without the phone bills. It can all be done, okay? So this is how a remote sales team functions. Okay, so that summarizes the questions, guys, in relation to this section on sequencing. And as I've said, this relates back to the yellow right the way down to the light red here in the diagram. So as your business starts to ramp up, guys, and you go from 5, 10 to 20 sales reps, your revenues are going to grow, and the operational capabilities and the operational team that needed to service the demands of your business, that is going to grow as well. And what we need to do is we need to think of our business at this point as a product or a system that we are trying to optimize. So in terms of continual growth and the commercial aspects of things, we need to try and make sure that the highest percentage of our total serviceable market experiences the core value of our product as possible. So this is all about user acquisition. We need to try and acquire as many users as we can. We need to make sure that we maximize the amount of revenue that we get off each customer each year through upselling, cross-selling, even downselling. We need to do all of that to try and get the most off our customer each year. Okay. After that, we need to establish really good lifetime client value. So we need to make sure that our customers stay with us for as many months, years, or decades as we can. And that obviously comes back to having a really good service and making things progressive so that things continue to improve, so that your business lasts the test of time. And then lastly, you've got total market size. So we can expand. If we're starting to saturate our niche or our market, we can expand to concentric circles to adjacent niches and proximal niches as well. Okay, so that is something that we should be doing. So those are the 4 dimensions of growth, and what we need to do in order to keep growing and systemize in that way, we need to do these 5 things. So we need to optimize the business, looking at each individual part and looking for incremental gains. We need to innovate by looking at the whole system or a part of the system and completely changing up the way that something is done. We need to diversify by looking at the business that we're in or the niche and seeing, can we expand this to somewhere else, or can we expand this to this industry that is adjacent. And as long as you're leveraging what you already have in terms of database, relationships, tools and skill sets, you'll be able to do that successfully. You need great management strategies. So as your team scales to 10, 20, 50 people, you are going to need really good management strategies, because you as the founder are going to get further away from the work that is actually being done, which means that if good management systems are in place, your service will remain as good, if not better than it was when you were doing the work and delivering. But if you don't have those systems, it can really fall down. Okay, so we need to look at how to do that. And then network effects. If you can, as your user base expands, you want to leverage network effects, which says that as the group of customers grows, each person that comes into the group increases the overall value. So this is all about creating a community, so that then your members can bounce off each other and your product gets better over time. So those things, guys, systemization for scale, they future-proof your business, mean that you can keep improving over time and that you can have long-term growth. And really that is what we're looking for with our business as an entrepreneur, leading back to where we are and where we want it to get to. As an entrepreneur, if you do it well, it should be a very front-loaded task early on, where you spend huge amounts of time and effort and energy building systems, but then as you go along, that effort should reduce and the business should just keep going up on its own, okay? Because the systems in place and the people who are managing your business can then run things for you, so that then you don't have to do that much work yourself. And what that will allow you to do is, you can either then focus on innovation or diversification or niche expansion, and that means that then you can add in new income streams that, as you can see, when you bring in a new income stream, if you do things correctly, you're not going to be introducing from zero, you're going to introduce them and they're going to be straight in at like a medium-sized business, because you've got the systems in place already that you can piggyback. You've already got your database, you already have your systems, you've got the people who know what they're doing, and you can niche on from there and bolt that on. And the same thing goes for future revenue streams after that. Okay, so that is what we are looking for, guys, in the long run, is that compared to a typical job where you might put in, on average, obviously there is exceptions to this, but people kind of coast through work in this zone in terms of effort, but they're able to achieve these results, quite mediocre results. Whereas as entrepreneurs go on, their effort that they need to put in is likely to drop if they do things correctly, and the earnings just go sky high, and you can generate a huge amount of wealth. So that is what we are aiming for. So some final questions on this, guys. How does sequencing de-risk the process? So just to reiterate again, by going out to the market at low cost when our solution isn't built, this allows us to validate our idea. That is how we de-risk through sequencing, okay? How do you test your acquisition and ramp up? So we make fully automated demand generation systems, and then we establish a 300% return on investment. Only after that do we build our remote commission-only sales team. So all of that is done low risk. We're not going to be spending huge amounts on marketing before we know things are going to work. We're not going to be taking on sales reps at a really high basic salary, which introduces a lot of risk. What does systemizing look like in practice? I think we've just covered that pretty well. But your business needs to look like a machine. You need to map out all of your processes. We use a process called business problem mapping to map out the whole thing, and you're looking for areas of optimization, areas for innovation, and your whole team has the chance to feed back, so that the people close to the information on the front lines can feed back up to the management with opportunities to improve things, opportunities to maybe diversify, opportunities to innovate, okay? That is how systemization looks in practice. And you want people to be looking at your business, everyone within your organization, and be looking for touch points that could be better, whether that be bringing something in from outside the industry that they've seen, or something that they've seen somewhere else within the industry. And it's all about creating that Kaizen, constant improvement culture, so that your business keeps improving. So that summarizes the process, guys. So just going back, I'll show here, so that then this is the systemization for scale process, which comes through at the end. And at the end of this, we should be establishing ourselves as someone who has time freedom, financial independence, and someone who is an industry leader or a thought leader within our space, okay? That is the kind of position, that is the end game that we are looking for here. And that summarizes your process, guys. So guys, now I want to show you what this looks like in action. So the case study that I'm going to show you here is Kids DXB. This is a previous business that I worked on with a business partner, Marcus Dunning. The business was focused on children's sport and educational services was what we focused on. And we managed to scale the business really quickly. This is where we were able to go from 0 to 1.5 million in 12 months. We were using automated demand generation systems, commission-based sales softwares. This is where all of the stuff in this program was born. Okay, so what we did to begin with, the business was formed based on a value capture model and a GSA, and our niche was parents who were kind of on like a mid-level income budget who were looking for affordable sport for their children. Dubai has quite a lot of high-end stuff, so our niche was that kind of mid to lower level market. Okay, so that was our niche, and we did a few different things to make ourselves unique in terms of offering group coaching and convenience and affordability and membership programs that meant that we had a value capturing model. So let's look into some of the things that happened once we got established. So we created an automated demand generation system. This was very similar to the B2C kind of landing page focused funnel that we talked about earlier on. And this flooded our sales pipe drive. So you can see a screenshot here of a live sales pipe drive. We would get in oftentimes over 100 leads a day in multiple different revenue streams, which would then be converted by a commission-only sales team. So our sales team in Dubai was not remote. We did do it in a physical location, but it was very much commission-only. And this is where we built up our sales processes and our recruitment processes. And you can see here the flow that one of the flows that we use for outbound sales phone calls. This was the office in action. We got up to 20 people working on that at times, and this resulted in a really good sales ramp up. So this was one of the months when sales started to increase from our live WooCommerce dashboard. And this is what a buzzing sales team should look like. So we did things on WhatsApp initially and then migrated things over to Slack, but you can see really high revenue numbers being posted. That's nearly $15,000 in one day, and the same thing being done on a couple of occasions here. We had a really great vibe going in these groups, and you've got people who are maybe quite new to sales, learning the processes, and within a month, if not 6 weeks, selling $1,000 to $2,000 ticket items, all learning a lot whilst they go along the way and giving them some fantastic skills. So the ultimate kind of highlight of this was that we managed to achieve a $25,000 record sales day. So this here is in dirhams. This was the business bank statement on that day, 14th of October. We were able to bring in that, which equates to $25,000. Okay, so these systems really work. And just to show you how we took things on from there and how we innovated and systemized the back end part of our system. So with the revenues that we were making, we were able to make the first membership economy based sports service for children, where instead of paying as they go per session, they had access as part of a membership. So we gave them unlimited access to sport on a monthly basis with a recurring payment module and a fairly advanced booking system as well. And this allowed us to create our own category and create a monopoly. Like, there were so many businesses out there that were offering sports coaching in like football or tennis, but we created a new category. We were the Netflix of kids sport, and we had all of these children coming to one location where they could take part in 8 different activities on an unlimited basis. So we had some good game-changing secrets packaged in there. Because this part of our sign-up process was automated, we laid in a referral mechanism. Okay, so this is something that we used, and this meant that we could acquire customers at a way faster rate, because every time someone signed up, they gave us the phone numbers of 3 friends who might also be interested, and that really made things explode and meant that this was our fastest growing revenue stream. Okay. We were also able to use chatbots to automate acquisition. So if you do build up a big list of phone numbers through lead generation activities, it is a good idea to leverage a chatbot, because you can then send proactive messages out to your subscribers. And this is another game changer for you guys. Chatbot proactive messages get such a high open rate. I think a lot of businesses struggle with the fact that they have a really big database, but if they send an email, they access a very small number of them because of the terrible open rates and click-through rates. And if they phone them, they can only access a really small number just because phoning takes a lot of time. So a chat bot will sit in the middle of that and allow you to reach people at scale. So all of this resulted in, you can see here from this bank statement, all on one day, the sales coming through, people signing up for a free trial of that system that I showed you, and also signing up for our full program as well. So ultimately the goal of this is an award-winning company. Our business won multiple awards in the Middle East and allowed myself and my business partner to unlock an ideal lifestyle. And if you follow these processes, guys, if you follow and create a really good sales argument and value capture model, if you test your idea and then you build out automated systems and commission-only sales teams, you can get to that point where you're turning over big numbers very quickly. You can get to 6 figures in 12 months. It is doable, okay? But you need these systems in place. And once you're there, if you want to be out doing the things that you love, then you need to systemize, okay? Because otherwise you'll get trapped within your company. Okay, so that summarizes the proof, guys, of the case study. Any other questions that you have about that, ask me when you schedule your evaluation call. So now, guys, getting into your options, okay? If this sounds good and this is something that you want to pursue, maybe you've already got a business but you want to accelerate its growth, or maybe you're starting something new right now, that's great. If you're in that position, you've got 3 options available to you, okay? So those are, you could go out and try and do it yourself, okay? So you would therefore be going on a very much a trial and error process. From my experience, it takes 6 to 8 years until you master this, and you'll only get the chance to master it if you don't run out of money first, okay? So it's quite a risky process. And in the meantime, if you are able to get mastery in like nearly a decade down the line, you'll have left so much upside and potential there. Like, if I knew what I know now about business when I started my first company at age 22, then I would be in a completely different position. So don't leave that upside potential on the table by doing it yourself, okay? I'm not saying here at all that you can't get there. I know that you guys, because you're here, you're people who are competent and are ambitious, and you want to better yourselves and you want to achieve results, but this is just the nature of it, is that unless you've got a mentor or a process of someone who has been there before, it is just the nature of things that it will take a very long time to get this right, okay? So that is your first option. Your second option is you could hire, and these people you would definitely need to hire all of them. You could hire a marketing agency, developers, salespeople, and a consultant, okay? You could hire all of those people and then try and sit in the middle and try and pull things together. But how good people perform is going to be based on the instructions that you give. So if you haven't got the kind of insights that are going to allow you to achieve the big results, then the performance will suffer as a result of that, firstly. And secondly, you're going to lose control of the whole process. I have been in this position before I learned all of this stuff. I was this guy, number 2, and I was just sat in the middle of people who were all doing different things, or who I was paying lots of money to, and the result gets very disconnected, and again, performance suffers, okay? So option 3 is to work with us, okay? And we can help you to achieve rapid revenue growth from scratch to scale in 12 months or less using these systems. So those are the options, guys. I really recommend option 3, of course. Whether you want to learn everything yourself, that is fantastic. Go ahead and do that with our growth program. Or if you haven't got the time to invest in that yourself, then join our accelerator and we will handle everything for you, okay? So that then everything is all in one place. So reasons to work with us. You'll be able to create a business without taking on huge risk in the early stages. So the processes that we teach you allow you to sequence correctly, okay? As we've spoken about, you're gonna learn how to go out and make money without marketing budget, and how to pre-sell before you built your solution, and how to test your marketing, so that then we can take things up in tiers, and there's not really a major risk there, okay? If you have a killer product and someone who's willing to put in the work, you can generate 2 million in revenue within 12 months, okay? If you really put in the work and you really knuckle down with these systems, they do take a fast track to success. So that is something that you will be able to achieve. You can finally get rid of the doubts that you're using suboptimal processes, tools and systems. So if you're out there at the moment and you're new to entrepreneurship and you're being bombarded with a load of tools and you're not sure what to use or what training programs to go with, this covers everything to do with the moment that you capture attention online, right the way through until the moment that person purchases and then they become a customer. We cover everything, okay? So you can finally get rid of any doubts that you're using suboptimal processes. You can forget about leaving money on the table and the anxiety of only just making payroll due to slow growth and thin margins. So if your business is out there at the moment and you're struggling or you're not getting the growth that you need or you're struggling to make payroll, then this course is for you, okay? This course is for people who want to change their business situation significantly over the next few months. At the end of this, you'll have supreme levels of confidence, freedom, and opportunities just falling on your lap because you'll have peace of mind that you've got an optimized system that can turn $1 of marketing budget into $5 of revenue. And this doesn't just come, guys, from having some trickery kind of magic sauce within your Facebook ads, okay? That is not what this is about. This is about a full system. We're talking product strategy, we're talking the prospecting, we're talking about how to create a sales argument, we're talking about then building a fully fledged marketing system and a sales team that can convert. Because marketing for most businesses, Facebook ads are great, but they're only going to be producing a return if you can then convert them. So it is the whole package here that we are covering, guys, and that is why I would recommend working with us. So to summarize the different things that are included, the value capture model. So before, when you wanted to launch a new business, you'd need to create something that you had like a sense or a feeling that people would want, and you take a large amount of risk. But now we're going to show you how to create competition eliminating solutions that aim for monopoly and capture profits. We'll show you how to craft a killer sales argument that resonates with a tightly focused niche, and then we'll use outbound prospecting to test that niche, okay, and make sure that they're going to respond to the solution that we've got at the price that we are offering as well, okay? So this is a way that we would give you a really valuable business model and then allow you to test it in the market without the risk. Once we've tested and you've built and you've got that first case study, we will then go on to automated demand generation systems. So we will build something like this where customers will come in at the start having seen an ad, they'll go through a sales page, a quiz, they'll then come to an evaluation call, and then we'll handle the evaluation call from there. So all of this can be automated using marketing automation tools, CRM softwares, chatbots, all of it can be automated. And as I told you, we've got multiple different funnels for information product style businesses, for B2C service businesses, and also for people who are wanting to make automated funnels as well. Okay, so there is a huge amount here in terms of automated demand generation. Before, if you would want to do this, you would have to go and find multiple different agencies. Most of them would have one area that they would specialize in, and you'd end up having this guy doing your SEO, this guy doing your Facebook, this guy doing your Google. They're all really just in it for their retainer at the end of the month, and they'll just be looking at their 20 accounts that they've got and just trying to do the bare minimum to keep hold of them. And you're going to be stuck in the middle trying to communicate with all of them and probably finding that they're all doing different things and the messaging won't be there, and you just get a disconnected approach and not going to get the ROI that you want, okay? Now you can use our step-by-step process to create an automated system. This is end-to-end from ad right through to conversion on the checkout page. We'll show you how to do all of it. If you don't have the time to do it yourself, then I'd recommend the accelerator. We'll act as your marketer, we can act as your CTO, and we'll take full responsibility, okay? No more relying on agencies that are only in it for their retainer. Next up, you're going to get conversion optimized sales teams. So before, if you wanted to convert leads, if you wanted to scale up your business, you'd have to take a big risk. You'd have to take on salespeople on a big salary, or at least a fixed salary, which you would have to pay out whether they brought in $1 or $50,000, okay? And that brings on a lot of risk for you, okay? So we're going to teach you how to make conversion optimized sales teams that operate on a commission only basis and can even work remotely, okay? So this is going to really reduce your overheads and mean that you can scale up your sales organization without any risk. Systemization for scale. Before, when you wanted to scale your business, this meant the founder would need to be putting in all the hours under the sun on their business 24/7, stuck within their business, doing the whole process, okay? But now with systemization for scale, we're going to put processes in place so that your business is optimized, so that you naturally innovate, so that your business continues to improve, so that it diversifies and looks for new opportunities, all without your involvement, okay? So the way that we do this, we install conditional logic-based SOPs, training videos, and tight feedback loops so that your business continues to improve over time, and you can map everything out into a system so that your business becomes like a machine, and then instead of being stuck on the inside working in the business, you can step outside and work on the business. So that, guys, summarizes in a nutshell what you get included within the program. So guys, if you like the sounds of this, if you like the sounds of the process, and if you run an information product business or a high ticket consultancy business or a service-based business with a price of at least $150, or you run a SaaS business, then this could be the program for you guys, okay? So we have two options, two ways of engaging with us. We'll discuss on your evaluation call which of these is going to be the best fit for you. But we have the growth program, which is an intensive 12-month course. It combines group consultancy with information products. You will get access to video tutorials, which will take you step by step through everything that we've talked about here in 8 modules. There is hours and hours of content on there. The spreadsheet, tools, frameworks, it's all there. You'll have weekly live group Q&As on Zoom with myself. And then there is also a customer-only support group as well, okay, where you can ask for help on Facebook, and we get a bit of a community going in there as well. If you take the Diamond program, you also get individual one-on-one coaching with me also, and everybody gets expert email support. If that is for you guys, you need to be someone who is motivated, you need to want to learn a lot fast, and you need to be someone who is able to put in the time, okay? So that is the option that is very well suited to entrepreneurs who are wanting to level up, and they've got the time to learn and invest in themselves as well, okay? The other option is the accelerator. So this is a fully managed growth service where we take control of all the important parts of your growth. So this includes technical architecture build, your Google and display ads, Facebook and Instagram ads, SEO. We manage it all in one place, and you'll also, as well as getting those services, you will also get growth-focused consultancy with myself, where we'll look at things like rapid growth strategy, technical architecture, your niche product and customer development strategy, how to build commission-only sales teams, and systemization for scale, okay? If you take on this program, you will also get your GSA and your ads written by me, and you will get aspect to certain parts of the growth portal, okay? The growth program is a one-off payment, or it's something split over 3 months, and the accelerator is a minimum 3-month commitment, okay? We can discuss and get into the pricings and the offers that we have on, and the things that are best for you on the evaluation call. So I'd urge you to head over and book that now if you haven't done already. Thanks for taking the time to invest in yourself and listen to this. I hope you found it useful and it's given you some ideas, and I hope to speak to you soon. So I'll see you then.